I messed up by forgetting that Reddit is only as anonymous as you make it, and I jeopardized my relationship with my family over it. This is an obligatory note that this isn't technically today. Really, this is more like, I have been somewhat foolish for about 10 years, but regardless. Buckle in, it is a long one. My childhood was exceptionally isolated. When I was about 5 years old, we moved to the top of a mountain in the middle of the desert, ostensibly because my parents wanted their eventual 11 children to grow up free and wild, but also because extremely traditional Catholicism tends to stick for children when those children have absolutely no contact with reality. We would descend the mountain for church on Sundays, and then once a month we would join other Catholic homeschoolers for a morning at a local park. Some years, we participated in 4-H, but that was about the extent of my socialization. I was unhappy, but I was never quite sure why, and my parents were always very quick to explain that my unhappiness was a result of the devil or a spiritual attack. Enter the internet. The glorious, populated, community-filled internet. As an older teenager, I began doing some classes online, and I got an ancient brick of a laptop to help with that. Naturally, I eventually found Reddit. Finally, I had found a place where I could have a sense of community with other people, and nobody would ever have to know I was an awkward homeschooler with a terrible long skirt and an awful haircut. I started in the Catholicism subreddit and tended to keep it open in one tab in case my parents walked in, while on another tab I could explore. Oh, the freedom of exploration. I learned history and science. I joined fandoms and discovered podcasters. I learned interesting terms like bisexual and even saw adult content for the first time. And I conversed with other people. People who were not homeschooled, sheltered, or even Catholic. I will not lie, I said some ridiculous things. For the first solid, let's say 6 years that I was here, I was drinking that Catholic Kool-Aid hard. If you look far enough back at my history, you will find a homophobic, transphobic religious bigot. Honestly, it is extremely cringeworthy. I also had a habit of occasionally complaining about the things my family did, especially as I began to realize just how desperately abnormal and unhealthy my childhood was. A word to the wise: do not post your family drama on your main account. It will eventually come back to bite you. Eventually, with time, love, and joining the real world, I grew out of the cringe. I left the Catholic Church once I finally realized the depths of its misogyny, racism, and corruption. I recognized that the fun word, bisexual, described me and started meeting with other queer people, discovering they were not depraved predators, but honestly the warmest and most lovely bunch of individuals I had met. I learned the real truth behind all the pro-life rhetoric I had been taught. I read books about abortion and transgender rights. I connected with people in my town and then started engaging in real-life activities once the COVID-19 pandemic ended. Now, I volunteer at my library every week. I realize that I am not broken and disgusting, waiting to be saved by an angry God. I made real friends and really learned to love myself for the first time. But you have been waiting for the significant misstep. I made the catastrophic mistake of posting a picture of my sister's wedding on Reddit. You would think that was insignificant. I thought it was nothing. However, my sister's ex, who has been involved in a decade-long custody battle with her, did not think it was insignificant. In fact, he somehow managed to find the post and then, from there, find my Reddit account. And just like that, 10 years of content were exposed. He must have read through thousands of posts and comments. He found the ones where I complained about my childhood, commiserated with others about how my family is still conservative when I have gone to the liberal side, and even weird poems about fights with my sister that I wrote at 18. He went through posts about my struggles with fertility and my struggles with religion. He entered screenshots of them into evidence as proof that my family was unfit to be around the child. By the time I was informed of what had happened and told to delete posts, it was too late. My dad had the screenshots, and then he went and found more. My whole family saw them. My grandparents called and texted in horror. My aunt across the country was dragged into it. The next thing I knew, I received text after text from my sister telling me that I needed to make a statement claiming that I was a psychotic lunatic, lying about all of it. My mother apparently wrote a statement for me that said as much, according to another sibling who saw it before she tried to make me sign it. My sister claimed that she would not regain custody of her child if I did not either claim psychosis or sign a statement to that effect. However, because that is perjury, I did not comply. You see, I am not a lunatic. I am simply someone who overshares on Reddit who doesn't. And I have been diagnosed with depression who hasn't. But psychotic? No. I wrote my own statement, basically laying out everything I just said. I was a sheltered child who used the internet poorly, and some of what I had said online was spoken without full knowledge of their respective situations. But my mistakes were my own. Since my sister had been adamant that I needed to call myself psychotic, and my mother had already written something for me, I thought it best to send it directly to my sister's lawyer, so that nothing could be added or amended without my knowledge. This was, apparently, a major mistake. I woke up to an email from my sister about how she cannot believe I would imply that I do not trust her, would you? And how I am going to die alone without any friends or family. She's going to portray me in court as a psycho anyway, because only a crazy person would, well, talk to a lawyer in a legal situation instead of the person who already seems to have made plans to have you perjure yourself. My entire family basically hates me, and that is the end of that. All in all, you might agree, this is no great loss. And it is not. No, friends, the loss is this Reddit account. 10 years of karma. 10 years of relationships and carefully curated content. I suppose I will have to start again with a new account, hopefully much more anonymous this time around. I am torn between never touching this account again and using it as my new account exclusively for writing erotic content, since now I know my father will be looking at all my posts in disapproval anyway. I might as well lean into it. I would say I will catch you all on the flip side, but I really hope I am not caught anywhere. I am so ready to go back to being just another anonymous face in the Reddit crowd, and this time I plan to stay that way. In summary, I used Reddit like a personal diary for a decade, and much like what happened with my actual diary when I was 10, my family found it, and it has basically destroyed our relationships.